A commanding officer of a Rashtra Rifles unit, a major of the army and a deputy superintendent of Jammu and Kashmir police were killed in action during an encounter with terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir's Anantnag district. A grand welcome from the Prime Minister at BJP headquarters after the Central Election Committee's meeting concludes. Discussion has taken place on 38 seats, 25 finalized. United Opposition Alliance India decides to hold its first joint public meeting in Bhopal early October. Decision taken at the first coordination meeting, leaders of 28 opposition parties to hold a public meeting in Bhopal against BJP-led centre government. August sees the highest ever sales of passenger vehicles. Auto experts say this could be the best festive season ever for car sales. An investigation has been launched against Seattle police after an officer was recorded on his body camera joking about an Indian origin woman who was killed by a police patrol vehicle in January. Tragic news we're tracking for you from Jammu and Kashmir. A commanding officer and a major of the army as well as a deputy superintendent of the Jammu and Kashmir police were killed during an encounter with terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir's Anantnag district. The body of the fallen DSP has been retrieved amid heavy firing by terrorists in dense forests of Kokarnag area. Sources say a joint operation was launched by the army and police late last night after they received a specific information about the presence of terrorists. The troops led by the commanding officer and a deputy superintendent of Jammu and Kashmir came under heavy fire. These three officers were critically injured and reinforcement was immediately rushed to the area. I have my colleague Nasir with the details.
Well, it's a live situation and this operation is underway, and special forces and mountaineers have been brought in to track down the attackers, and also they are, it looks like the bodies of the army officers may not have been retrieved yet. We don't have any confirmation from army latest if they have been retrieved now. But it has been a very, very challenging operation, not in a sense that is a huge, huge loss for the army and the security forces, where senior officers who were leading from the front have been killed. And then for a whole day they were actually struggling and organizing how to retrieve the body, or first that was how to evacuate the injured when they were hoping against the hope. The first body that was retrieved was of DSP Muzammil Bhatt, and it was brought to Srinagar, where J&K's Lieutenant Governor paid homage and laid the wreath. Then there was the Director General of Police, Dilbag Singh, other senior officers, chiefs, they all laid the wreath. But what was the most somber occasion in this somber occasion was when a father laid the wreath. Ghulam Hassan Bhatt, himself a retired Inspector General of Police of Jammu and Kashmir, he paid homage to his fallen son. He laid wreath on the body of DSP Muzammil, his son. So really a police officer who has himself been part of this force, there he was leading from the front and he has been killed. So really it is a tough operation. We'll see how this operation will play out tomorrow, because for whole day there was all effort was how to retrieve the bodies. One body has been retrieved. We are waiting for the confirmation from the army if the two other bodies of the Colonel Manjeet and Major Ashish have been retrieved so far or not.
Right, thank you for bringing us those details. We now shift our focus to some more news coming in. Agenda for the special parliament session is out. On the September 18th, the special parliament session will take place and discussion on the parliament's 75-year history will also occur. The government is set to pass over 4 bills in the special session. The CEC appointment bill will also be discussed. Now, 5 bills have been listed for discussion. The Election Commissioner's Appointment Bill 2023, the Post Office Bill 2023, the Advocates Bill 2023, the Press and Registration of Periodicals Bill, the Repealing and Amending Bill as well.
The agenda for the special session of the Parliament has been made public through the Parliament bulletins in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And if you could see the Rajya Sabha Parliament bulletin, it makes it very clear that there will be a discussion on the 75th year of parliamentary journey. So the journey of 75 years of Parliament will be discussed on the first day of the special session. That's on September 18th. That has been revealed in the parliamentary bulletin in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So on 18th, it's very clear that there will be a detailed discussion on the 75 years of parliamentary journey. So that's very clear. But alongside, almost 5 bills have been listed for passing in the special session in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. If you could see both the bulletins, one important bill that has been listed for passing in the special session is that the appointment bill for CEC, Chief Election Commissioner and Election Commissioner. This particular bill was introduced in the previous session, but it was not taken up for consideration. So that particular bill, which is a very important bill that will set up a system for appointment of Chief Election Commissioner along with election commissioners, will be taken up for consideration in the upcoming special session. In all likelihood, this particular bill, government will be trying to pass this bill in the upcoming special session. But what is important, or the contentious issue in this particular bill, is that the Supreme Court Constitution Bench in its judgment had held that high-powered committee comprising of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha, and also Chief Justice of India will be part of the committee that will be selecting the Chief Election Commissioner along with the election commissioners.
Okay.
So that has been changed in this particular bill. Instead of Chief Justice of India,
right,
that has been replaced with an Union Minister. So that particular bill will be taken up for consideration in the upcoming special session.
Okay.
So though both the almost 5 bills have been listed in both the parliamentary bulletins, but the parliamentary bulletin also makes it very clear that these 5 bills are not the exhaustive list, and in all likelihood there will be more bills, but we have to wait when the bills are introduced in the parliament.
Thank you, Arvind, for bringing us those details. Now we shift our focus. The BJP CEC meeting concludes and discussions have taken place around 38 seats and 25 have been finalized along with the candidates who will be fielded from these seats. A list is expected soon. On the other hand, the opposition's India Alliance held its first coordination panel meeting to strategize for the upcoming elections and discuss seat-sharing formula. Several key decisions have been taken in this meeting. The Congress General Secretary, K.C. Venugopal, stated that the parties have decided to hold talks over seat-sharing soon and that joint public meetings will be held across the nation, the first of which is scheduled to happen in the first week of October in Bhopal. The India Alliance leaders also emphasized on the caste census as a major issue which will be taken up as a cause by the opposition bloc.
The coordination committee decided to start the process for determining the seat sharing. It was decided that the member parties will hold the talks and decide at the earliest.
To raise issues of unemployment, rising prices amongst a host of other issues. So they want to show a united face. Having said that, they've also agreed on going ahead with the decision that you must have a caste census. This despite the objections of the Trinamool Congress in the last Mumbai meeting, and it's in that backdrop that even though the Trinamool Congress was absent today, I asked a specific question to Mr. K.C. Venugopal, who said this is a decision of the coordination committee. We will definitely explain to the TMC about the decision that has been taken and take them along. Having said that, the other, of course, is a host of other issues in terms of seat sharing, the nitty-gritties, which is going to be a huge issue in terms and really a question of survival for the India bloc, whether they can have a broad-based seat sharing agreement across the country. In some states, it's impossible, like for example in Kerala, in West Bengal, the CPM is definitely not going to ally with Mamata Banerjee, and it's in that same backdrop whether they will be able to foster some kind of seat sharing in, say, Delhi or Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, and the list carries on. So it's definitely something that we will have to wait and watch. And of course, they're also talking about a boycott. A subcommittee on media will decide on how they will boycott certain channels and certain anchors, which is really not a good sign in the current present situation, because if somebody's done one wrong, you can't, the two wrongs don't make one right.
Right, thank you, Sunil, for bringing us those details on that story. We now shift our focus to Assam. Assam governor constitutes 5-member committee to draft a legislation for banning polygamy and interreligious marriages that are taken place by false identity and the role of Qazi in child marriages. Now, Advocate General of Assam, Devjit Saikai, and Assam DGP, GP Singh member of the committee that comes into effect immediately, has filed the draft legislation within 45 days, hearing all three parties who have opposed the proposed legislation. I have my colleague Ratnadeep joining us for more details on this. Ratnadeep, take us through now this 5-member panel that has been formed, and what exactly is their agenda?
Well, this 5-member committee has been formed to submit a report within 45 days, which will draft legislation, which will be basically a law which will be implemented in Assam, banning polygamy. It will also ban interfaith marriages, which are being done with false identity. And also it will have parts related to child marriage, where it will have new rules about the role of qazis, particularly in child marriages, particularly in Muslim society. Now, it is a 5-member committee headed by Devajit Saikia, the Advocate General of Assam, GP Singh, the Director General of Police, Nalin Kohli, who is the Additional Advocate General of Assam, Roman Borua, who is the Secretary Judicial Department of Assam, and Vishwajit Pegu, Secretary of the Home and Political Department. They will submit this report, this legislation. It will go to the Law Department for studying, and in the winter session of Assam Assembly, this legislation will be placed in front of the Assembly for enactment as a new law.
Right, Ratnadeep, thank you for joining us and sharing those details on this particular story. We now shift our focus to some more news coming in from Kerala. One more person has been diagnosed with Nipah virus. Health Minister Veena George has confirmed that another case of Nipah virus has been detected in Kozhikode. Now, 24-year-old health worker at a private hospital was diagnosed with the virus, and a central team is now in Kerala to assist the state government in tackling the Nipah virus outbreak in Kozhikode district, where 2 people have died and at least 4 others are in the hospital with symptoms. Now, Kerala's Nipah protocols have kicked in as soon as the confirmation came from the National Institute of Virology.
7 Gram Panchayats have been converted into containment zones in Kerala's Kozhikode district after the National Institute of Virology confirmed 4 samples as positive for Nipah virus, including that of a second man who died on Monday. State buses passing through the containment zone are not allowed to stop. Neighbouring districts of Kannur, Wayanad and Malappuram have also been put on alert.
75 ഐസൊലേഷൻ റൂമുകളാണ് മെഡിക്കൽ കോളേജിൽ സജ്ജീകരിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. ഇതുകൂടാതെ കോഴിക്കോട് ജില്ലയിൽ 24-ാം തീയതി വരെ വലിയ ആൾക്കൂട്ടങ്ങൾ ഒഴിവാക്കാനുള്ള നിർദ്ദേശങ്ങൾ ആവശ്യമെങ്കിൽ നൽകാം. അതിന് ജില്ലാ കളക്ടറെ അതിന് ചുമതലപ്പെടുത്തി. ഇപ്പോൾ നിലവിലെ നമ്മുടെ ഒരു വിലയിരുത്തലിൽ 30-ാം തീയതി മരണപ്പെട്ട വ്യക്തി തന്നെയായിരിക്കാം ഇൻഡെക്സ് കേസ് എന്നുള്ളത് തന്നെയാണ് ഇപ്പോഴുള്ള നമ്മുടെ അനുമാനം.
Only outlets selling essential items will stay open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Medical shops are exempted. Social distancing, use of mask and sanitizer have been made mandatory. Those with suspected symptoms have to isolate for up to 3 weeks.
हर बार हमने देखा इसकी मॉर्टेलिटी जो इस बीमारी से मृत्यु की जो दर होती है, मॉर्टेलिटी रेट काफी हाई होता है, जो कि 70 से लेकर 100% तक भी देखा गया है, क्योंकि हाईली पैथोजेनिक या हेंड्रा वायरस की तरह से काफी ऑर्गेनिज्म है, जिससे कि मृत्यु दर काफी ज्यादा होती है.
Education Minister Sivan Kutti has asked all schools and Anganwadis to stay shut, and students have been asked to shift to online classes from home. With SP Babu in Thiruvananthapuram, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
We shift our focus to some more news. Less than a week ago, the BMC, the richest municipal corporation in the country, released a draft policy saying that private parties will be allowed to adopt open spaces like parks and playgrounds. Now, activists have opposed the idea, asking why such a rich corporation cannot handle open spaces on its own, and who will keep checks and balances if private players get involved.
India's richest municipal corporation, the BMC, with a 52,000 crore plus budget for 2023, wants private players to adopt open spaces like parks and playgrounds across Mumbai. A draft policy released by the corporation wants suggestions from the public by October 10. But many Mumbai activists are protesting the move, asking why India's richest municipal body needs private intervention, and who will ensure checks and balances to stop public spaces from being wrongly utilized in a city where land prices are already at a premium.
अभी हम लोग जहाँ खड़े हैं ये पाली हिल पे पाली माला विलेज का गार्डन है, ये बीएमसी का गार्डन है। इतना अच्छा जगह बीएमसी मेंटेन कर रहा है, उसका खुद का जगह है, तो ये जगह व्हाई डू दे वांट टू गिव टू सम प्राइवेट पर्सन?
हमारी सरकार से और महानगर पालिका आयुक्त से यही मांग है कि इस तरह के कुछ मैदान एडॉप्ट देने की आपकी मंशा क्या है? महानगर पालिका इतनी सक्षम है, क्यों नहीं महानगर पालिका खुद इस प्लॉट को संभालने का प्रयास करेगी?
The BMC says it has over 1,000 parks and playgrounds under its jurisdiction, covering over 562 hectares of land, and that private participation will help maintain parks in a much better manner. In January 2016, the BMC had cleared a proposal allowing private parties to maintain public parks or grounds for a maximum of 30 years. However, later that year, the proposal was stayed by the then Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis. With Pooja Bharadwaj in Mumbai, Bureau Report, NDTV.
Welcome back. Now, in the United States, an investigation has been launched against Seattle police union leaders after an officer was recorded on his body camera laughing and joking about an Indian origin woman who was killed by a police patrol vehicle in January this year.
I think she went up on the hood, hit the windshield, then when he hit the brakes, flew off the car. But she is dead. No, it's a regular person. Yeah, just write a check. Yeah, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
Shocking body-worn camera footage from January. Seattle police officer Daniel Orderer laughing at the death of Indian student Jahanvi Kandula, who had just been killed after being rammed by his colleague Kevin Dave's car. According to report, Dave was driving his vehicle at 74 miles per hour when his vehicle struck and killed Jahanvi Kandula, who was just 23. Orderer was sent to evaluate whether Dave was impaired. An investigation has been launched into the horrifying events. The recording was released by the Seattle Police Department on Monday. The department said it would not comment on the matter until the Police Accountability Office concludes its investigation into the incident.
Joking about how much her life might be worth, even if he was mocking an attorney, is just really heartbreaking and shocking to hear.
A vigil was held for Jahanvi in the week of a collision. Initially, Orderer reported the officer was driving his car at 50 miles per hour and was not out of control. However, a police investigation found that the car was at 74 miles per hour when it hit Jahanvi. The cause of death was multiple blunt force injuries. Jahanvi, a native of the Kurnool district of Andhra Pradesh, was a student at the Northeastern University campus in South Lake Union and was on track to receive a master's degree in information systems this December. That dream will sadly never become a reality. Bureau Report, NDTV.
Now we're shifting our focus to some more news. India adds 5.2 crore formal jobs in 4 years as per a latest report. Shakshi Bajaj gets us all the highlights from the report and what this means for employment trends in the nation.
India has created 5.2 crore formal jobs in the last 4 years, that is from FY20 to FY23, as per SBI research analysis of the Employees Provident Fund Organization and the National Pension Scheme data. This data, remember, consists of both new payrolls and second payrolls. The net new payroll was 2.27 crores during FY20 to FY23, or in other words, fresh jobs adjusted for those who have rejoined or resubscribed to formal jobs. While first jobs account for 47% of the total net new payroll, second jobs, or in other words, members who exited and rejoined or resubscribed to formal jobs, stood at 2.17 crores during the 4-year period. Now, NDTV spoke to SBI's Group Chief Economic Advisor, S.K. Ghosh, who said this data is encouraging and going forward, he sees stability in the formal job sector.
Those were the latest updates we were tracking for you. Continue watching NDTV. Now we sign off.